Kick off their 95-96 season with the Ken Peddy Windmill City Tournament, and this is the championship game. The Bulldogs to take on the Aurora Catholic Chargers. My name is Dave Stapleton, and I'm along here with Kevin Allman, and we will be covering the game for you on Batavia's public access channel, Channel 43. Kevin, the Bulldogs have a totally different look this year, mainly because they lost a catalyst of their offense in Ted Thomas.
Indeed, Ted Thomas was a major part of their offense, Dave. But taking a look back at last year, Brandon Schwab is their leading scorer, 15 points a ball game, 3 rebounds and 6 assists. He's going to really have to step up this year if the Bulldogs even want to get farther than they did last year.
Especially with Brandon Schwab being a junior, and he started at point guard as a freshman. This is his third year of starting. Now, alongside in the backcourt, we're used to seeing Jay Kramer. He was really stepping up in practice and in the first game, but he had a pretty severe accident, and he is not going to play tonight.
Right, but the Bulldogs now, instead of Jay Kramer, who's out with the injury, of course, Nick Marsh has been stepping up real well. He's really been putting some points on the board for the Bulldogs. 10 points last night against Glenbard South. And we're probably going to see more of Nick Marsh tonight. We also might see some of Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, of course, was a big star running back for the Bulldogs in the football season, Dave. So I'm expecting a lot out of this team tonight.
Actually, Mark Anderson, who was the quarterback of that team and who was also a non-conference selection in the Suburban Prairie football season, started on Friday night against Glenbard East at the shooting guard position, and in all likelihood will be starting tonight. But Ben Johnson has been getting some action, and Nick Marsh has been getting some action at center, along with a couple of other names from the sophomore team of last year. Ben Zagorski and Dan DeBrooker has been getting some minutes.
Dan DeBrooker, indeed, has definitely been getting some minutes. He's another one of those players that Coach Roberts is going to be looking up to make some impact on this team. But taking a look, Dave, at the Bulldogs, obviously one of their strengths is just their overall size, their shooting, and their quickness. It was one of their main strengths last year. Their weakness, of course, was their inside game, but they've definitely made some improvement on that this year.
Well, they don't have any true big man. That's why Steve Schaefer, who is the one who has varsity experience time at the center position, is actually playing power forward for the last couple of games. They've listed Ben Zagorski at the center position. But they do have a lot of height in Schaefer, Marsh, Zagorski, DeBrooker. All these guys reach around 6'5", and I've noticed that Steve Schaefer has improved on his game. He's gotten a little more physical, and he's able to take his game above the rim, as noted in the open house the week before.
Indeed, you know, as you said before, the important thing for the Bulldogs is that they got to have that strength on the inside game. But again, this is going to be a whole team effort for the Bulldogs. Not only is Brandon Schwab going to have to step up with his scoring, but Jay Kramer, once he gets off the injury list, he's going to have to step up too. 9 points a game last year. That's got to be, you know, you got to have a higher average this year. But I like their inside game. I like their inside game with Steve Schaefer in the center position. I tell you, the Bulldogs have been looking very impressive to me so far this year, Dave. Just absolutely blowing out their opponents in the last 2 games.
It's actually a totally different look than what I expected, Kevin. The first second-round playoff game that the Bulldogs lost to Wheaton Warrenville South in overtime last year, there were 3 players who scored more than 2 points. 3 players did the bulk of the scoring. Brandon Schwab had 30 points, and Ted Thomas and Jay Kramer had 18 points and 12 points. Now, since Ted Thomas is gone, you have to expect Jay Kramer to do the scoring. So there's only 2 players who scored more than a bucket in that game, and yet they're well balanced on the offense.
Well, missing Ted Thomas is going to be a major blow to the Bulldogs. But when I talked to Coach Roberts before the ball game, I asked him how much of an impact is Ted Thomas going to make not being on this ball club. And he told me not much, because he's expecting Mark Anderson to step up to the plate and make some big points. Now, the guard positioning of Mark Anderson and Brandon Schwab are 2 of the strongest guard positions in the Suburban Prairie Red Conference. They are going to be the guys that you really have to watch out for this year, Mark Anderson and Brandon Schwab.
That's nice when you can bring in someone like Mark Anderson to take the place of a starter. Anderson probably would not be starting without the injury to Jay Kramer, but already when you bring him in, he's showing some moves. He's got some good point guard instinct, as does Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson, you know, making the plays for the Bulldogs in the football season, but again, he's going to be expected to make the plays here in the basketball season. I think we're going to see some of Ben Johnson this year. He's very quick off the court, and if there's one thing that I know about Coach Roberts, he looks for is speed. Speed off that ball, speed going down the court. Ben Johnson is the guy that's really going to move that ball down the court real fast and give it to either Brandon Schwab or Steve Schaefer or even Dan Carlson to move on the inside.
As far as bench strength is concerned, Jim Roberts has filled his bench with maybe not necessarily great basketball players, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but really good athletes in Mitch Streetel, Mike Snoddy, and Ryan Cochin ring a bell. Both these guys have gotten considerable playing time in other endeavors.
Well, the thing I like about Coach Roberts is that he stresses teamwork, and teamwork is what really keeps this ball club together. When you talk about teamwork, you talk about 5 people out there on the court that really give it their all, and I've seen this in the past 3 years. This is why I really like Coach Roberts. This is his 10th year of coaching the Bulldogs. Last year he was 17-10 and 10-6 in the Little 7 Conference. And Dave, for him being here 10 years now, this is his 11th season. That's some impressive numbers.
Well, especially someone like Coach Roberts, who 5 years ago had a team that went downstate, losing to Marshall in the first game of the Elite 8 tournament, and he's been on tough times. 2 years ago, this Batavia team was only 5-19, and then of course coming back last year, and you know they were the only team to be able to beat Sycamore last year when they had the 2 big. Was it Bosnians or Croatians? I really shouldn't get, or was it Serbs? I really shouldn't get that confused. But Elvira Opchina and Serdan Slimagovic were certainly impressive players for Sycamore. Not only did they graduate, but Sycamore is not even in the red conference. The way the Suburban Prairie lines up, there's 3 divisions, the red, white, and blue. And Batavia is in the top, the red division, along with, I believe, Fenton, Plainfield, Minooka, and I'm missing someone.
Riverside Brookfield.
Now Riverside Brookfield's in not in the lower division. Geneva did get dropped. They're in the white division. Their school enrollment is not high enough, but this is not conference against Aurora Christian just to kick the season off. Now Aurora Christian has won the last 2, if not 3, Windmill City Classics.
Yeah, Coach Don Davidson, what an impressive record he has had in these 19 years that he has been at Aurora Christian. He has compiled a record of 236-34. And the last 9 seasons at Aurora Christian, they have won no fewer than 22 games in a season. And coming up, being the runner-ups last year in the championship game at 32-2, they're going to be looking for blood this year. This is a very important game for both teams to start out on the right track.
And we're going to the spotlight introductions. I'm not sure if they're going to turn down the lights here, which has been a custom in other years. But first, the national anthem.
Classic basketball tournament. And Batavia, now the starting lineups for tonight's second game for the visiting Aurora Christian Eagles. Starting in the guard, District Senior, number 31, F. Ryder. Starting in the guard, 5'11" senior, number 33, Matt Scott.
As the crowd settles down, we will begin play soon. Jim Roberts taking his troops out onto the field. The Bulldogs are 2-0 during this Windmill City Classic. They have beaten Glenbard West and Wheaton St. Francis pretty handily against Glenbard East. And against Glenbard East, they were up 25-6 at one point. From then on, they played pretty much even keel with them, and they really didn't have to turn on the Jets.
You know, Dave, taking a look at the keys to this game, it's definitely going to come down to who wants this more. Is it going to be the Bulldogs or is it going to be the Eagles? Both of these teams have a lot at stake. This is going to be a great matchup. I'm ready. Let's start it all.
Steve Schaefer, number 50, and Julian Harrell getting ready for the tip. Here comes the referee, tips it in. We're underway, and the Bulldogs are able to control it. Brandon Schwab with the ball. Schwab looks to drive inside. He likes to do that. Oh, it's blocked by Matt. I believe it was by Matt Allen. Rebound by Schaefer. He tied sides to put it up, but it will not go in. We have a foul on the floor. Okay, foul, I believe. Okay, it's on Aaron Sauber, number 40. It's the first foul, of course. We just started underway. No score yet. Zagorski has the ball back out to Brandon Schwab. Schwab over to Dan Carlson, fakes, wants to shoot it, but decides against it. Goes to Mark Anderson at the free throw line. Shoots in, Ben Zagorski wants it. He puts it up, and it rolls in, and he's got the foul.
Great way to start out the game. Ben Zagorski just driving down, and they're not going to give him the point. They're going to give him a charge.
Yeah, that was actually pretty tough. I was surprised, actually. I was worried that they were going to get a charge on Ben Zagorski, and sure enough, they did. No score here as Aurora Christian brings it up. Matt Stott make that Jed Kreider. Looks like he slipped, and the Bulldogs will get the ball back. So we're underway, but there isn't a score yet as Mark Anderson will bring out the ball for the Bulldogs.
You know, David, looking at the Eagles right now, they're playing a nice, they're playing a zone defense. So let's see what the Bulldogs can do to try to capitalize on that.
Schaefer goes inside, swatted away by Harrell. Matt Allen comes up with it, make that Mark Allen. Well, the point guard, Matt Stott, kind of lost it, and they traveling call. Bulldogs will get it back. So 7-12 left to go in this first period. Been a couple of turnovers for both sides. They seem pretty shaky on offense.
Well, it's coming down right now to nerves. I mean, both of these teams are really nervous. I mean, they both have a respect for each other. We're going to see some points here real soon.
Here's Schwab looking up the defense against Matt Stott. Puts it in. It won't go, but Aurora Christian gets the rebound. That's Jed Kreider with the rebound, and Jed Kreider can hit some threes for you. Stott covered by Mark Anderson. Anderson's playing the point on defense over to Julian Harrell. He'll make things happen in this game for them. Blocked by Steve Schaefer. Nice play, and he gets the rebound. Schwab kicks a nice dish to Carlson, but he's blocked by Mark Allen. And they do call him with the foul. 2 shots. Carlson will go to the line. Did you think that was a clean block?
It looked to me like it was a clean block right there. I mean, you know, I loved that block on Julian Harrell. Harrell trying to show some strength on the inside, and then he's blocked by Dan Carlson. So we've got a pretty good ball game here so far. No points on the board yet, but I'm sure we'll see some here soon.
Certainly the crowd makes it feel like it's a good ball game. They're really excited for this as they quiet down to hope for the first point for the Bulldogs. Dan Carlson puts it up, and it's in. Nothing but net. Bulldogs take a 1-0 lead on a free throw from Dan Carlson. That foul was on Mark Allen, his first personal of the night. Takes his time, sets and shoots. Comes right back out. Good strong rebound by Jed Cryer for Aurora Christian. The Eagles bring it up. That's Kreider bringing it up, not Stott. Covered by Schaefer. He decides to take it right in baseline. Blocked away by Zagorski, but they called a foul. I'm not sure about that. It looked like he had all ball, but it must have been a little bit of hand in there.
Well, Dave, the Bulldogs here are just showing strength here on the inside. I mean, this is something that we missed last year, but we're seeing that strength on the inside, you know, when they're blocking the shots here. But Aurora Christian has a chance to put some points on the board.
Yeah, I know inside the Bulldogs did have a little bit of problems. As Nick Marsh comes in, he'll replace Ben Zagorski. Nick Marsh, number 54, he is a junior. He is about 6'4", or 6'5". Well, either way we say it, it's pretty tall. Anyway, the Bulldogs did have a tough time playing inside defense. They would try to hack instead of getting a quality block up there, trying to set their body. They had a tough time doing it. Jed Kreider trying to put some points up for Aurora Christian, and he puts it right in. As you might be able to hear, we are on the enemy side of the doghouse, newly named, home of the Battling Bulldogs, as the sign shows on the other end of the court. And the Wild Bunch leading the other end for the Bulldog fans, chanting brick as much as they can, but to no avail as Kreider hits both of them. And Aurora Christian takes a 2-1 lead with that. Schwab breaks the defensive coverage, puts up a three. Good strong rebound by Carlson, can't get it. Bulldogs haven't hit a shot from the floor yet. Julian Harrell walked. Harrell's been kind of hesitant too, and he's got to make things happen for the Eagles if they want to win tonight.
And the Eagles really count on Julian Harrell to make that inside game work. He just hasn't been doing it right now, but here comes Brandon Schwab. I think Schwab's going to get a three here.
He decides to pass off to Dan Carlson, and looking inside to Nick Marsh. He's covered. Anderson over to Schaefer. Schaefer puts up a three, nothing but net. Steve Schaefer hits the three. A 4-2 lead for Batavia. 5:46 left in this first quarter of play. Harrell back to Stott, and then over to Kreider. Covered by Anderson, we got a foul. No, take that back. Traveling, another turnover for the Eagles.
Yeah, I love that that three-point play by Steve Schaefer. Schaefer just in the open spot there and nailed the three.
Steve Schaefer does have that ability to shoot from outside. Of course, you kind of like to see him inside in order to get the rebound. And there's Schaefer inside trying to get the ball, turn the ball over, however. Schwab couldn't get it to him. And Aurora Christian will take it out. It's Kreider in the paint. Looking to Harrell, and he's got him double covered. Looks like the Bulldogs are starting to play a little bit of full court D. However, the Eagles break it. Then there's a wide open Mark Allen, who's able to put it in. Tie game, and they almost break up that pass.
Great pass in there by the Eagles going inside to Mark Allen in the center. They passed that ball 4 times down the court without even taking one dribble. Well, they must have worked on that play in practice.
Certainly, Aurora Christian does not have the inside strength like they did of a year ago when they went down to the finals of the Class A tournament with players such as Josh Wayne, Joe Mann, who could hit it from outside, Nathan Thompson, Brad Punk, and Mike Smith at point guard. All their starters are gone. That was a very, very good team. This team is a far cry from that. However, they can do it. Nick Marsh puts it in from right inside the red. That's his first bucket of the ball game. Bulldogs up 6-4. Aurora Christian trying to figure out this defense. I'm sure Coach Roberts will make some adjustments if it's not working to his liking. Decide against the three. They're going inside. That's Julian Harrell. He's got inside capabilities. Blocked away by Schaefer. Steve Schaefer showing some defensive prowess as well as the offensive touch.
Steve Schaefer just sticking like glue to Julian Harrell. I love this. I mean, Harrell's trying to show his strength on the inside, and Steve Schaefer says, no way, not in my area.
They're trying to show that there was no hard feelings on the other end of the court. Matt Stott puts up a three, and it won't go. Brandon Schwab with the rebound. Bulldogs up 6-4, 4:30 left in this first period of play. Schwab's taking his time, goes out to Carlson, likes to swing it out left. Carlson taking his time. Looking to go inside, can't get it to Schaefer. Decides against it, goes to Mark Anderson. Mark Anderson stops back out. Schwab puts up a wild three. It won't go. Schaefer battling for the rebound with Mark Allen, and I believe they're going to call the foul on Schaefer. that would be his first personal. Aurora Christian gets the ball back.
So Aurora Christian and Batavia keeping it close right now, 6-4. We haven't seen that much of Julian Harrell, but the surprising thing is, Dave, we haven't seen that much of Brandon Schwab. He's made a lot of attempts, but hasn't made any yet.
Now, Schwab has missed both shots that he's tried. He tried a three, couldn't hit it as Mark Allen gets a high percentage shot at the other end of the court to tie this game at 6. Mark Allen has 4 of Aurora Christian's 6 points. The other 2 points coming off of free throws. There's Nick Marsh wide open on a pass from Dan DeBrooker, but couldn't put it in. The Eagles grab the rebound, having problems. Dan Carlson picks his pocket. Not in. Nick Marsh falls down trying to put it up, but he'll get the foul. He'll go to the line. It came down pretty hard, and the Eagles fans don't like it, but that's basketball.
And the fans really showing discord right here with the officials. I mean, they thought that the Bulldogs should have gotten that foul, but instead, new life for Batavia.
Fouls on Jabari Harrell, number 23, obviously the brother of Julian Harrell. And there's another Harrell on the team, Nathan Harrell, number 15. That was not a shooting foul, non-shooting foul. The Bulldogs will bring it out. 3:51 left. We're tied at 6 on BCTV Channel 43. I'm Dave Stapleton along with Kevin Altman on the color. Steve Schaefer fakes a 3 and he walks. Ball will come back to Aurora Christian.
Yeah, that's just a critical mistake right there. That's just, it comes down to nerves. I mean, right now, both teams really need to relax, just play a slow tempo game, not try to rush the ball down the court.
Jabari Harrell kicks it out to Aaron Sovereign. He will take the 3. Jabari will, and it misses. Scrambled for the rebound. Julian gets it on the other end, puts it in. First 2 points for Julian Harrell, and he gives Aurora Christian an 8-6 lead. Batavia takes his time setting up the offense. Schwab looks to shoot, but he was stripped. I believe they'll call it a non-shooting foul. Foul is on Jabari Harrell. That is his second personal. He will probably sit down. Don Davidson will probably find a substitute for him. Here's Dan DeBrooker, who's been in the ball game for a little while. Kicks it out to Marsh. They're going around the three-point line. DeBrooker's open, and he puts it in. Actually, that turned out to be a pretty tough shot for DeBrooker, but he was able to nail it right on the baseline.
Well, I seem to remember from a long time ago, Tim DeBrooker. There's another great inside pass to Mark Allen.
Absolutely right, but they couldn't make it happen. Good defense by the Bulldogs. They were able to cover up their early mistakes as Dan Carlson swats it away. And Carlson gets the pass from Schwab, can't put it in. Marsh trying to battle for the rebound, and here's the breakout. Jabari pulls it up now, nowhere to go, kicks it out. There's a three-point attempt. It will not go in. And we have a push. Looks like they will call it on Dan DeBrooker.
Well, as I was saying before, Dave, I remember from 5 years ago, Tim DeBrooker, the great center that they had for the Batavia Bulldogs. Dan DeBrooker is a player that Coach Roberts has a lot of respect for. He has the same kind of attributes as Tim DeBrooker.
I remember that back around 1986-87, Tim DeBrooker was the best player on his team, and everybody was excited because he had the ability to slam dunk. That ability is shared by a couple of people on his team, as Dan wasn't able to hit it from three-point range, and it's tied up at 8 here. They look to go inside. Mark Allen walk, no call. There's the call. No shot. He'll go to the line for 2, though. Bulldogs foul early. They will try to take the lead on the free throw line.
So we got 2:14 left here in the first quarter and a tie ball game. Both teams playing some outstanding defense. But again, I don't see a slow tempo ball game. All I see is this fast passing and fast moving down the court. They got to slow the tempo down.
Well, there's enough athletes on both sides of this court where they'll hopefully will be able to keep up this pace, although I'm having a tough time trying to keep it up myself. Brandon Schwab tripped, loses the ball. I don't know what the call is going to be. Schaefer gets it, but they decide it's over and back. Aurora Christian will get it. And we're tied up at 8 with 2 minutes left in this first quarter of play. I'm Dave Stapleton along with Kevin Altman. Batavia Public Access Channel 43 brings you the Bulldogs against the Aurora Christian Eagles in the final game of the Ken Peddy Windmill City Classic. Julian Harrell has the ball, and there's a blocking call on Dan Carlson. If that is Carlson, that'll be a second personal.
Yeah, Dave, taking a look at that last play there down the court, Brandon Schwab, I wasn't sure what he was actually doing. I mean, he was throwing the ball towards the other side. There wasn't any Bulldog players near the ball. So I think Brandon Schwab should have basically tried to hit the ball toward his side instead of trying to throw it on the backside when no one's there.
Mark Anderson comes back in the ball game to replace Dan Carlson, who picked up the second personal. Jim Roberts signaling his men out on the field what defensive play they want to set up. As Aurora Christian looks to bring it in underneath the basket. They close off inside, kick out outside to Kreider. Kreider can shoot the three, but he goes against it. Just drives right in. Nice play. And Steve Schaefer hacked him. Kreider will go to the line. That's the second personal on Schaefer.
We have 1:53 left here, and Aurora Christian is getting ready to go up to the line.
Okay, Jed Kreider has not scored as of yet. Well, actually, he has scored 2 points, both those on free throws. He's the only player for Aurora Christian to shoot. He's 3 for 3 on the night. And that gives Aurora Christian a 9-8 lead with 1:53 left. It goes in. He's 4 for 4. Substituting for the Bulldogs, Ryan Cochin coming in to replace Steve Schaefer. Cochin, the backup quarterback for the varsity football team, so we really didn't get to see him play very often. Mark Anderson did the majority of the time at quarterback for the Bulldogs, but both those quarterbacks are on this varsity team. The Bulldogs lose it. Oh, and Brandon Schwab almost gets it back. Eagles have it.
Nice defensive play there by Brandon Schwab. Almost had the steal.
However, the Bulldogs had a tough time keeping it on the offensive end, so Aurora Christian will bring it out. That's Jed Kreider, number 31, looking to bring it in. Pressure by Dan DeBrooker. Taking his time, no 3-second call. It was actually pretty close there. Julian Harrell's got it. He's double-teamed. Out to Kreider. Could have blown the whistle there, but they didn't. Jabari Harrell loses it. Aurora Christian doesn't look good on this end, but they still have the ball. Kreider fakes it, goes inside to... Oh, and he walked. Mark Allen could not handle it. Allen has 4 points, and he's not going to get any more when he takes steps like that. Those referees are going to nail those in a minute. Schwab's got the whole length of the floor to go. He's being defended by Kreider. It is a Saturday night. This is the final game. Both of these teams are 2-0 coming into this game. Schwab kicks it into Marsh, tries to alleviate the block shot, but he's not able to. I believe Harrell got it. Aurora Christian quick on the other end. A nice spin move, but a little bit too nice. Jabari Harrell walks on it.
Yeah, another traveling call. We've seen a bunch of these now by the Aurora Christian Eagles. And, again, Dave, I see the same things that are going on. It's a fast tempo game. They're not slowing it down.
But that carry, it was a carry, but it looked good, didn't it?
Yeah.
In the NBA, that doesn't get called.
Oh, you betcha.
Here's the Brooker shooting it up. It will not go. They're not able to hit their shots. However, they're getting some rebounding. It's Ryan Cochin, kicks out to Schwab. He fakes a three, and then he takes it. No, rimming no. And Allen comes up with the ball. Aurora Christian's fans screaming for the 3-second call. They're not going to get it. Here's Kreider, a little bit of a carry, goes inside, it won't go. And we have a call. It will come back to Batavia. Offensive foul is going to be on Julian Harrell, his first of the night. Ooh, correct that. That is his second of the night. Right now, 2 fouls on Jabari, 2 on Julian. Aaron Sovereign has 1, and Mark Allen has 1 for Aurora Central. As far as the Bulldogs go, they have 3 players in a little bit of foul trouble, especially since it's the first quarter of play. Zagorski, Dan Carlson, and Steve Schaefer both have 2 fouls in it. You sure hate to see that. When those are your taller players and are already in foul trouble, you have to sit them down. You have to bring in a smaller lineup. And I guess you have to keep it kind of fast-paced in order to take away the height advantage that the Eagles do have. Nick Marsh is the only tall guy in there. Back out to Brandon Schwab. Tries to avoid the block shot. Scramble for the rebound. Marsh has it. Throws it out. There's a three-pointer on the way by DeBrooker. He can't hit it. They keep on getting the rebounds, but they can't hit the shots. Finally, Aurora Christian grabs it. There's 13 seconds left. This will probably be the last possession of this quarter. Aurora Christian up 10-8. Jabari holds on to it. He's taking his time. Less than 5 seconds left. A fake. This will be the last shot of the game. If it goes, it does not go. Aaron Sovereign misses the shot, and first quarter done. Bulldogs up 10-8. And you're right, it has been a fast-paced game, but it's going to eventually have to slow down, and the Bulldogs are eventually going to have to start hitting their shots.
Well, indeed, the Bulldogs have been missing most of their shots. Brandon Schwab hasn't made one yet, and he's the go-to guy for the Bulldogs. But taking a look at Aurora Christian, they're just making these little mistakes. I mean, they're not major mistakes. They're just little mistakes. A traveling call here, missing a shot on the inside. I haven't seen that much of Julian Harrell. I know he's going to step up here in the second quarter, but Brandon Schwab has to hit the shots, and he hasn't made one yet, and that's got to be a downer for the Bulldogs. So we'll see what they can do here in the second quarter, Dave.
As the Aurora Christian cheerleaders leave the court, Coach Roberts talking to his players, as is Don Davidson, the Eagles head coach, trying to get him set him up for the second quarter, which I don't know if you'd call it a sloppy first quarter of play or a very defensively sound second quarter. However, it was a fast-paced first quarter, and hopefully the second quarter will bring back some more scoring. Certainly these teams can score. I believe the Bulldogs were in the 70s for their first two ball games. Right now they're only going to average 32 if they keep this up. Only 8 points for the Bulldogs in the first quarter of play. Steve Schaefer has 3 on that 1 3-point play. Nick Marsh and Dan DeBrooker reach for the bucket, and Dan Carlson hit one of his free throws. Jed Kreider and Mark Allen each have 4 points for Aurora Christian, and Julian Harrell, their star player, 2 fouls, but only 2 points. He only hit 1 shot. Aurora Christian has the ball. Here's Jabari Harrell bringing it up, covered by Brandon Schwab. Schwab likes to take the steal. There's Kreider, goes inside to Julian. Nice positioning on Dan Carlson, counted and the foul.
A nice inside move there by Harrell, making the 2. And now the Eagles are up 12-8, and the Bulldogs are now making another substitution. So Roberts using his bench to try to get something out of his players.
Dan DeBrooker back in as Dan Carlson has to sit down there as his 3rd foul, and we just started the second quarter. Carlson, who had a good scoring night the night before, 12 points, looks like he's not going to get into the flow of this game, especially when he's saddled with 3 fouls, and we just started the second quarter. Nice spin by Mark Anderson, and what does drop? That's the first 2 points of the ball game for Mark Anderson. It's 12-10. Aurora Christian does have the lead. Anderson, some nice moves. Julian Harrell taking it up. He's double teamed, almost a steal. Gets it back, covered by Anderson and Schaefer. 15-footer, and it goes in. Matt Stott with his first bucket of the ball game. It's a 4-point lead down on the other end. Schaefer hits it. 5 points for Steve Schaefer. They were quick on the other end, and they caught Aurora Christian napping on that play. 14-12. Bulldogs down by 2. Nice spin. No call on that one. They kick it out, setting it up. Work last time. Oh, nice spinning move. Jabari gets inside for an easy deuce. First 2 points for number 23, Jabari Harrell. And his brother has 4 points. It's 16-12. Brandon Schwab covered, throws up an air ball. Steve Schaefer tries to get it, but the ball's out of bounds. No, take that back. No, the referee decides it's coming back to Batavia. Actually, we're not sure. He's not exactly sure which way is which, and now he's conversing with the Aurora Christian player. It does go back to Christian. Schaefer did step out of bounds. Originally, the referee signaled that Batavia was going to get the ball back. Double team breaks down. Oh, I thought maybe they would have lost it, but the Eagles do get the ball back. They're up by 4 points, 6:31 in the second period of play. Covered by Schaefer, it's Kreider. Kreider going inside, it's blocked away. Aurora Christian's going to keep it. Well, we've had a little more scoring, but sometimes both these teams stagger and just can't seem to put the ball in the bucket, and yet they keep on getting these offensive boards.
Well, the Bulldogs are going with a different defense here in the second quarter here. We're looking at a man-to-man defense instead of the zone, so we'll see how good that is for the Bulldogs.
Julian Harrell can't hit it, but they come right back out. They were able to get another offensive board. Jabari puts it up, rolls in and out. Steve Schaefer's struggling. I believe the Bulldogs will get the ball back. Last touch by Aurora Christian. 16-12 is the score. The Aurora Christian Eagles 2-0, looking to go 3-0. The Bulldogs also undefeated in this young season. Ooh, nice play by Jabari. Got quick hands, but the Bulldogs will get it. Mark Anderson to bring out the ball, probably to kick it back out to Schwab, the point guard, a junior, in his third year of starting for the varsity team. Not many players can say they've started on varsity for the Bulldogs. Lamar Justice did not. I don't believe Corey Williams started either. So in recent memory, Brandon Schwab's the only player I can think of who has done so. Of course, the Schwab tradition, they do have a big athletic tradition in Batavia with Brad and Brian, who was on the Elite Eight team from back in 1990-91.
We're taking a look at the Aurora Christian Eagles here, Dave. Jabari Harrell is doing more than Julian Harrell. He's all over this court, making the big defensive plays.
DeBrooker puts up a long two, maybe a three, won't go in. Nice spin move by Schaefer, but it will not go in. No one there, the rebound for the Bulldogs. Aurora Christian gets it, and there's a steal. No foul is called. Aurora Christian wants it. They won't get the call. DeBrooker driving inside. He loses it. Schwab gets it, puts it up. No, he's blocked, and he draws the foul. That will be Mark Allen's second foul of the ball game. Schwab to the line, shooting a pair. The field goal percentage is not good for either of these teams, well below 50%, possibly around 30%, as Nick Marsh will come back into the ball game, and Ben Zagorski will sit down. Zagorski's got 2 personal fouls. Mark Anderson talking to Coach Jim Roberts. Jim Roberts in his 10th season as coach of the Batavia Bulldogs, and he's seen some ups, and he's seen some downs, and this is hoping to be an up year. As Brad Thill, number 51 for the Aurora Christian, sits down along with Jed Kreider. Schwab on the line, shooting a pair. Bulldogs are down 16-12. The lead is now cut to 3 with that free throw. That is Schwab's first point of the ball game. It's taken him a good 10 minutes for him to score, and he is the offensive catalyst. It's actually pretty surprising. He has not scored more recently, but he hits the second free throw. Bulldogs narrow to lead the 2 at 16-14, 5.5 minutes left in the second period of play here at the Doghouse. Over the battling Bulldogs, it's a steal by Nick Marsh. He's going to take it all the way, decides not to dunk. He lays it in. 4 points for the ball game on Marsh. He ties the score at 16. Big defensive play by someone who you might not expect to hit it. It was an inside player making it happen on the outside. There's another steal. Oh, goes all the way down. Anderson to Schwab, puts it in.
Now the Bulldogs are starting to play some basketball here. Aurora Christian making the mistakes. They're playing the fast game. Now the Bulldogs have caught up to them. And now the Bulldogs lead by 2. And I told you, Dave, we'd start seeing Brandon Schwab making some points. I think he just needed to get up to that free throw line, relax a little bit. He made a couple free throws. Now he's off.
Dan DeBrooker with the foul. That was a 1-on-1 situation on the bonus, and Julian Harrell cannot hit it. It's DeBrooker on the other end with a scoop shot. It will not go in. Schaefer trying to kick it off a foot. Is he successful? Yes, he is. Nice play on the defensive end by Schaefer, number 50. Schaefer has 5 points in the ball game and making it happen on the defensive side of the court. DeBrooker going to bring it in for Batavia. It's 18-16. The Bulldogs have, I believe, their first lead of the game with 4:44 left. Nice kick pass to Schaefer, but he can't put it in. Usually he's well on the touch pass there. They found him inside, but he wasn't able to hit it on his jump. Then Aurora Christian brings the ball back down. Some tight defense. There's a 3-point attempt, and it goes in. Matt Stott. 5 points for Stott. As the Aurora Christian takes a 1-point lead, it's 19-18, 4 minutes left in the first half. Mark Anderson at the point guard position. Out to Schaefer. Schaefer with another 3, ugly air ball. But Schwab gets a rebound. Nice scoop. Boy, Schwab might be the shortest player on the court, and actually he put that in underhand, but he knew exactly where to throw it. He has 6 points. The Bulldogs are up 20-19. Julian Harrell with the ball for the Eagles. Almost an over and back, and they do call it. I'm not exactly sure about that call. I believe he was able to get over to the front court in time, but the referee did not see it that way, as the Bulldogs will get the ball back with a 1-point lead.
Well, you know, take a look at the fans here. Batavia and the Aurora Christian fan. There's a lot of Aurora Christian fans here really rooting on Aurora Christian. Maybe they're seeing things that we're not seeing, but there's definitely some plays that the refs have missed.
Schwab puts up a 3. It won't go. His 3 woes continue. Nick Marsh with a nice save. Anderson gets it over to DeBrooker inside to Schaefer. Schaefer looking to post up. Nice spin around, and it goes in. 7 points for Schaefer on the night. The Bulldogs have a 3-point lead, their biggest of the game so far, with 3.5 left in the half. That's Eldred Foster, who passes it out to Julian Harrell, puts in the 3, will not go. Allen pushed off, no call, can't get it. Steve Schaefer comes down with the board. Schaefer's having a monster game tonight. 22-19, the Bulldogs with the lead. Nice touch pass over to Schwab. Schwab makes the move. He will get the foul called as he was tripped up. I'm not sure who the foul is on. However, it is a non-shooting foul. Foul looks to be on Eldred Foster, his first of the night. Ooh, change that. That is C.C. Foster, not Eldred. Oh, I guess there's a pair of Fosters on this team, as well as a trio of Harrells. I'm sorry, I got those confused. Brandon Schwab, with the 1-on-1 situation, hits the first.
Brandon Schwab on that last play there tried making that the 2 points, and what's his name? CC, whatever his, I can't remember the guy's name. Number 13, CC Foster. Yeah, he put in a block, and the Eagles thought they'd see it differently, but Schwab comes in, makes 2 points.
Schwab has 8 points to lead the Bulldogs, all those in the second quarter. He was held scoreless in the first. The Bulldogs up by 5, 24-19, 3 minutes left. There's a 3-point attempt by Jed Kreider, will not go. Oh! That was kind of close. Eventually Schaefer comes up with it. Oh, but he can't hit the shot, and Aurora Christian comes out with the ball. DeBrooker originally had that kind of an Olay move, went down hard. Schaefer was able to corral it, but could not hit the shot. The Eagles are looking to cut into this lead of 5 points that Batavia has. Nice inside pass to Allen. Mark Allen with his 6th point of the ball game. It's 24-21, Batavia with the lead. A packed house here at the Dog House, right in the middle of Batavia High School, the newly renovated high school. There's more gyms. This is the original. Brandon Schwab, nice move, won't go in. And Aurora Christian's able to cancel out those Bulldog offensive rebounds. It's 1 and only for Batavia. Schwab couldn't hit it. A long one would tie this game for Aurora Christian. They go inside. Allen bumps off, tries to put it in, cannot do it. Nice inside rebound. Kreider gets it and is fouled. He will go to the line. Foul is on Dan DeBrooker. That is his 3rd personal foul. 24-21, the Bulldogs with the lead, and Kreider shooting a pair, trying to cut the lead to within 1. He is 4 for 4 on the night from the line.
Well, it's interesting, Dave, to see the intensity on this floor right now. Both teams really are playing their hearts out in this game, and I have seen bodies flying and checks and you name it, it's been there. So the Bulldogs are really trying to send a message here to the Aurora Christian Eagles that you are not going to win on our home court.
Kreider misses both free throws after hitting his first 4 of the game. Nice attempt by Anderson. The Bulldogs will get it. Kreider pushed him out of bounds. Ben Zagorski in the game for Nick Marsh, and Dan DeBrooker, who has 3 personal fouls, is going to stay and check that. DeBrooker has only 2, my mistake. As the scoreboard shows us, DeBrooker with only 2. Dan Carlson with 3. He will sit out the rest of the half. Here's DeBrooker pushing it up from about 16 feet. He drains it. Maybe that's the reason why Roberts left him in. He can shoot the ball. They lost to Adam Enriquez, who was a pure shooter last year, but DeBrooker is going to fill that position for this year's Bulldog team, 2-0, trying to go 3-0, trying to improve on last year's 17-10 record. Originally, they were 16-11, but they lost to Moline, and Moline had to forfeit their game because of an ineligible player. Well, there was a push. The ref calls it. Aaron Sovereign pushed out from Brandon Schwab, and he drew the foul.
Sovereign definitely there with the push on Brandon Schwab, and I tell you, I see the intensity out here. 26-21 is the score. We definitely got a ball game here, Dave.
Anderson having a little bit of trouble getting it out, then he does put it into Schwab. There's a minute and a half left. The Bulldogs have a 5-point lead, 26-21. Offensively, a lot better. Nice behind the back move. He's going to put it up. It will not go. Schwab hustling, and Mark Anderson does have the rebound. He brings it back out. Schwab attempts the 3. In and out. Ooh, this place would have gone nuts had Schwab hit the 3. C.C. Foster Looks like he lost it. No, Brandon Schwab with the foul. That's his first personal. Oh, and now with the new situation, there's a new rule in high school basketball where if you have 10 or more fouls in a half, it's a super bonus where instead of shooting the 1-and-1, you get 2 shots, regardless if it's a shooting or a non-shooting foul. And we will see that here tonight. CC Foster shooting a pair on a non-shooting foul.
Yeah, we didn't see that much of CC Foster last year. We're going to see a lot more of him this year. Don Davidson, again, he's got some new players out there. 7 of his 8 players have graduated, so CC Foster is one of those players that is going to have to step up for him.
Foster able to hit the second shot. They're down by 4. It's 26-22 with 1 minute left in the half. I don't believe CC was even on the team. There was other players that graduated. This team was absolutely amazing last year. They certainly lost a lot, but they have some talent in the likes of Harrell and Allen, and they definitely have the ability to beat the Bulldogs. It's just a question of if the Bulldogs come out to play. It's a mental question. Brandon Schwab, I think they're going to get him with the charge. No foul called. They call it a jump ball. I believe Schwab really put his shoulder into CC Foster. I thought they were going to call the foul. Maybe the Bulldogs got a break there. Jump ball does go back to Batavia with 36 seconds left.
An offensive foul there on Aurora Christian, so the Bulldogs breathe new life here.
Steve Schaefer open from 15 feet. No, they're not going to count it. Looks like Ben Zagorski picked up his 3rd personal foul underneath the basket. Aurora Christian will take the ball back. 29.7 left. There's another thing the Doghouse has. The clock, when it goes under a minute, can go to tenths of a second in that European style. It's 29.7 left. Aurora Christian 4 points down, and with the bonus situation, they're going to shoot 2. It's Aaron Sovereign on the line.
Well, 29.7 seconds left. I mean, the Bulldogs up 26-22. Coach Roberts has got to be feeling pretty good. And Davidson's got to be saying, what the heck's going on here? I mean, Harrell hasn't been doing much for us. Where are we going to get these points from? Are we going to get them from the free throw line, such as one's made right now?
Sovereign hits his first. If he hits his second, the lead will be down in 2, 26-24. 29.7 left in the first half of play, which has been spirited by a hustling style of play, albeit not so impressive on the offensive end. Nick Marsh almost loses his footing, but he's able to get it. However, the shot goes in anyway. Bulldogs have a 2-point lead, and the clock is counting. Under a half a minute left. And we see Dan Brooker bringing up the ball. Kicks it out to Schwab. Kind of a reverse action going here. They're taking their time to want the last shot of the ball game unless something really big opens up inside. Everybody stretched out one-on-one. Here's Schwab. There's about 5 seconds left. Schwab going to take it himself. He loses the ball. Aurora Christian has a chance to put it in. Did he get it off? Yes, he did. Nice play by Matt Stott as the first half comes to a close. He had to underhand it in order to get it underneath the clock, and he was able to put it in. Stott had 7 points in that half, and he ties the ball game up on a kind of an ugly move. It's 26 even at the half.
Boy, a dumb move there by the Bulldog defense. I mean, they're trying to waste some time here, and Aurora Christian just read it perfectly. I mean, they were waiting, and they were waiting, and finally they made the point. So, Dave, we've definitely got a ball game here at the half. It's going to be tied at 26 apiece. We're going to expect some more here in the second half, and I'll talk some more about what Batavia needs to do here in the second half.
We will be back after this short timeout after this on BCTV, Channel 43, your place for Batavia Bulldog Sports. We're back at Batavia High School. Dave Stapleton along with Kevin Altman for BCTV, Channel 43, as the Bulldogs and Aurora Christian are tied up at 26 after one half. You know, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to expect from this game. There was too many wild cards. Thomas was gone. The entire Aurora Christian lineup from last year was gone. Did you think this is what we would see after one half?
I didn't expect to see this kind of a fast-paced ball game. I thought it was going to be really controlled. I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game, but it's really been low. I mean, 26-26, and with the offensive power that both of these teams have, we haven't seen much. Brandon Schwab stepped up in the second quarter, made some key shots, but you know, it's just talking right now, 26-26. I think what the Bulldogs really need to do is step it up here in the second half.
And here's a chance to step up as the first half and halftime show comes to a close. Due to light constraints, we were not able to pick up the palms, and they had those little light flashlights with the red beams on them. It was a very interesting display, something different that they can do for basketball season as they turn the lights down. But the lights are back up, and we're ready to start the second half of play with a 26-26 deadlock tie. We're taking our time to let some people come into the home of the Battling Bulldogs, the Doghouse. And you know, it's really a packed house tonight.
Indeed. You know, they've taken a look here at the half when they went into the locker room. You got to believe that Coach Roberts said the big thing that we have to watch out for is don't let the Aurora Christian crowd get into this ballgame. They have basically been controlling this whole game, and I think Batavia's been out of sync because of that. I think if Batavia shuts them out and just goes with what they know best, and that is play basketball, play the controlled basketball that they play, it's going to be a high-scoring game, and Batavia's going to win. But they really need to step up here in the second half.
Aurora Christian looking an inbound. Silverman fakes the three, goes inside. Julian Harrell with it around Dan Carlson. He gets back his own rebound. Oh, we had a foul. I was worried it was going to be the fourth on Carlson. However, oh boy, it is. No, I'm not sure who the foul is on. Oh, it is on Mark Anderson. That's his first personal foul. We're still knotted at 26. Aurora Christian inbound. It's Jabari Harrell looking inside to his brother Julian. Nice move by Julian. He was stripped, or he kicked it off to Mark Allen. Allen has 8 points now for the ball game as Aurora Christian takes a 2-point lead. Batavia had a tough time getting it in, but Schwab drives right to the lane. High off the glass, won't go in. Rebound, Aurora Christian. And there's a steal. Over to Schaefer. Schaefer can't control it. Who's got the ball? Eventually the Eagles do get it. It would have been nice to have a basket there to cut that lead, to tie up. However, the Bulldogs do get it back. We're starting sloppy. Oh, and there's almost another turnover. This is almost like the first half, how the first half started. Oh, no one seems to even want to take a shot. They can't get the ball over to the other end. Jabari wants to take it himself. Eventually, he picks up a foul. And I must say, that was kind of a silly foul. Dan Carlson, that's his fourth foul. That pretty much takes him out of the ball game for the rest of this quarter.
And that's going to hurt the Bulldogs. Dan Carlson is, you know, a big forward for the Bulldogs. And when you take Dan Carlson out of the game, you take out a little bit of their inside game. So the Bulldogs are really going to have to make some changes here and adjust to that.
Carlson had picked up his third foul just inside this to start second quarter. Picked up his fourth just to start the third. Having a tough time on the defensive end as the Bulldogs do bring it up. Aurora Christian cannot put it in the hole. Steve Schaefer with a nice spin move on Harrell, and he hits it. Schaefer has 9.
Nice spin move there by Steve Schaefer going inside and making the 2. I've been really impressed with Steve Schaefer. He's made some improvements from last year.
Ball goes right back to Brandon Schwab. Here's a breakout. Mark Anderson puts it in. That's 4 points for Mark Anderson as the Bulldogs take a 30-28 lead. We just started the second half of play, about 6.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Sovern looks inside. Julian Harrell, they're going to make it happen with him. Twice he can't put it in. Brandon Schwab comes out with it, controls it well, right through the defense. He'll take it himself, and he lays it in. Schwab, the first player on the night in double digits. He has 10. 8 of those coming in the second quarter of play. He was scoreless in the first. Julian Harrell, fake move around Zagorski. Nice move, it will not go in. And Ben Zagorski's able to get the rebound. Here's Brandon Schwab behind the back, brings it up at half court. He's going to settle it down. Bulldogs have a 4-point lead. It's 32-28. Mark Anderson over to Schwab. Schwab takes the 3. It will not go. He's not able to hit any 3-pointers tonight. To start out this Windmill City Classic, he had 6 against Wheaton St. Francis. He has none tonight. Here's a 3-point attempt by Sovereign. It will not go in. Who has the ball? No signal yet. They're taking their time. I don't know if they know. Looks like Aurora Christian's going to have it, and the Eagles call a timeout with 5:31 left. The Bulldogs up by 4.
Yeah, two things, Dave. One, Aurora Christian looks like they're a little bit out of sync here in the second half. The Bulldogs have definitely stepped up. And the second thing is, I keep on hearing 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds. Well, you know, are people counting 1, 2, 3, or is it 1, 2, 3? What is it? You know, it's a hard thing to really judge with the 3-second violation there in the lane. So, you know, that's definitely been a key factor. And I think Davidson is telling his, you know, Aurora Christian to just basically calm down. I mean, we kept it close here in the first half. Let's step it up here a little bit. Julian, you got to start making the shots because he isn't making them.
The Batavia Bulldogs, the bench players who haven't taken off their Ken Peddy Memorial Windmill City Tournament t-shirts, are sporting them, looking pretty good in the red and the yellow. As the Bulldogs come back on the court, it is Schwab, Zagorski, DeBrooker, Schaefer, and Mark Anderson. For Aurora Christian, we have Stott, Allen inside, Julian Harrell, Aaron Sovereign, and Jabari Harrell, number 23, is going to bring it out for the Eagles. Bulldogs up by 4. Goes inside, Julian Harrell wide open, right around Zagorski, lays it in. Nice play by Harrell. His 7th and 8th points of the ball game, cuts the lead to 2. Here's the Brooker bringing the ball up. Covered by Aaron Sovereign. He looks like he's going to take it all away. Some nice moves. Does it go in? No, it will not go in. And Batavia gets to keep the ball. There's a close play. Ref had to make a decision. And it's been a time where it's easy to bash the ref. I think we have to respect ref's decisions. As Steve Schaefer catches that jump pass and puts it right in. Schaefer with 11 points to lead the Dogs so far.
I like that jump there by Steve Schaefer. Pass the ball in, and then boom, he just hits the 2.
Nice inside move by Matt Stott. He won't get it, but there is a foul. Next, making sure they nailed. I believe it's Julian Harrell who looks discouraged, looking at the coach, Don Davidson, wondering just what he did. That's Julian Harrell's 3rd personal foul, one more. And the Bulldogs will certainly be hoping that they can pick up a 4th foul on Harrell. He's the catalyst of this team, I would say. Steve Schaefer 6 down. Nick Marsh coming into the ball game. He will play with his back to the basket for Batavia. 4:51 left in this 3rd quarter to play. The Bulldogs up 34-30 on BCTV channel 43 with Kevin Allman on color. My name is Dave Stapleton. Brandon Schwab with a 3. It will not go. Nice rebound by Zagorski. He gets fouled. Mark Allen's 3rd personal foul. Zagorski will go to the line to shoot a pair.
And a foul on the inside there by Julian Harrell. So if Harrell isn't making the shots, he's creating the fouls for Aurora Christian. And that's not a good sign for the Eagles. I'm definitely seeing a different team here, Dave, than I did from last year. You know, it's definitely a different look for Coach Don Davidson and the Aurora Christian Eagles. But the Bulldogs right now lead 34-30, and back to you.
And as far as the Bulldogs are concerned, as far as their look is concerned, I think you have to be impressed with the play of the juniors that were on the sophomore team last year. I mean, mind you, Schwab and Kramer were sophomores last year on the varsity team, but players such as Zagorski, Marsh, DeBrooker, they really got a lot of seasoning down on the Frost-Soft level last year, and they've really contributed. As we observed there, Zagorski misses the first. We got the rebound, but couldn't put it in. Aurora Christian bringing it down court. They're down 4.5 left in the 3rd quarter. Matt Stott setting up the offense. Twirling his fingers around over to Jabari Harrell. They look inside to Julian. Out to Kreider. I don't believe he has any 3s yet. Everybody touches on this play. It's Mark Allen with the shot, and it goes in. 10 points for Allen. He's the leading scorer on this club. And he gives Aurora Christian the inside strength that maybe the Bulldogs don't have. They have some height, but they might not have a big body, at least not as big a body as Aurora Christian does. A 3-point attempt by DeBrooker. Oh, watch out. As Ben Zagorski and Jabari Harrell go in, they knock down the chairs, and guess who falls on the ground? It's Jay Kramer, who just got hurt, broke his nose a couple of days earlier. He is on the ground. I hope he's okay. Looks okay setting it up. Well, it looks like as far as Kramer is concerned, it's not safe if you're on the court, and it's not safe if you're off. Kramer goes down, and the trainer's trying to check him out. Kramer trying to laugh it off. Bulldogs up by 3. It's 35-32 with about 4 minutes left in the third quarter of play. Long pass by the Eagles. Oh, there's a 3 attempt by Scott Stott. It will not go in. DeBrooker with the rebound. Aurora Christian is not playing the full court press. Batavia trying to set up. Schwab going inside to Marsh. Tries to spin on Harrell. In no man's land. Hits off the back of the sideboard. Aurora Christian has it. They can tie this game with a long one. Harrell gets the ball stolen. Oh, what happened to Zagorski? He lost it, but fortunately DeBrooker was in there to pick it up. DeBrooker gets stripped. Allen has it. Oh, it goes to Aurora Christian. I thought Marsh had the ball, and 2 players end up on the court.
Well, I saw a defensive foul there by Aurora Christian, but Christian gets the break here, and they get the ball back. So a lot of intensity out there on the court there, Dave.
You can make the case that both teams have been getting the breaks. I remember earlier in this game there was a sure charge that the Bulldogs went right into a Aurora Christian player, and it was called a block. They got lucky there. Maybe a makeup call springs between quarters. I'm not exactly sure. The Bulldogs up, still holding that 3-point lead. We haven't had any scoring in the last couple of minutes here in the third quarter. Here's Iron Sovereign, tries to go baseline, kicks it back out to Kreider, top of the key. Sovereign launches a 3, partially blocked by Schwab. Goes back to Schwab. He's going to lay it in. I believe Zagorski controlled that block shot, and he threw it right over to Schwab, who puts in another bucket. He has 12. Kreider is not going to take the 3. Marsh with a nice defensive play. However, Harrell has it, and it's stripped. Brandon Schwab bringing it up. Does he want a 3? He's going to go inside. Kicks it out to Mark Anderson with the shot.
Nice pass there by Brandon Schwab. That's the kind of things that you want to see. And Aurora Christian's going to call a timeout. Boy, I tell you, this is what the Bulldogs really needed. They really needed to make some points there on the inside. They really needed Brandon Schwab up, and he has done that, and the Bulldogs now lead by 7 points at 39-32.
That was suddenly, I must say. All of a sudden the Bulldogs up 7, and Dan DeBrooker putting the pressure on the Aurora Christian offender. He had to call a timeout. There was really not much he could do. Don Davidson deciding, I better settle these guys down. Certainly Don Davidson does have the experience, especially definitely in tight ball games. He took his team all the way to the Class A state finals where they eventually lost.
Yeah, Dave, you cannot count out the Aurora Christian Eagles. They are absolutely strong. I mean, 32-2 is nothing to laugh at from last year. They can come back, and they can come back in a hurry. And I remember them coming back big time last year against Rockford Lutheran in the night of hoops. And I don't know if you remember that, but I certainly do. They were down like 14 points, came storming back to win the ball game.
Coached by John McDougall, Rockford Lutheran, always a strong team. Aurora Christian, I believe their enrollment is right around 250, but I swear we have at least 300 Aurora Christian fans in the stands here on this side of the doghouse. Of course, the other stands are jam-packed with Batavia Bulldog fans. They love their dogs here at Batavia High School. Both teams up have a 2-0 season records, trying to stay undefeated and win the Ken Peddy Windmill City Classic Trophy. Down by 7, Aurora Christians having problems getting it in. The Bulldogs swatted away. 2:16 left in the third quarter of play. Eagles will bring the ball back in. Good defensive pressure by Batavia in this third quarter. They are not giving up any easy baskets, which they possibly might have. Do we have a 3-second call? No, we have a push. I believe they called DeBrooker with the foul. That would be his 4th if that happened. No, take that back. Steve Schaefer draws the foul. That is his 3rd. Dan Carlson with 4. Zagorski and Schaefer each have 3 fouls. Foul trouble for Coach Jim Roberts' team. 2:16 left in the third quarter of play. Aurora Christian down 7. They'd like to get a long one if they can, but inside they go into Allen inside. He's able to hit it. Allen has 12 points, team leading total for the Eagles, and he cuts the lead to 5. It's 39-34. Nice fake by Schwab, puts up a 3. He's not able to hit those 3s tonight. He must be 0 for 6 in 3-point range. Julian Harrell inside, kicks it out. There's a 3 attempt by Kreider. Whoa, way long, but they get the rebound. Mark Allen, nice play. He has 8 points this quarter, 14 points overall in the game, and Aurora Christian has cut the lead to 3. Bulldogs up 39-36, a minute and a half left in the third quarter of play. DeBrooker looking, kicks it out. It's Mark Anderson, top of the key, over to DeBrooker. Want to go inside to Schaefer, they have it. spin move behind the backboard. He is partially blocked. Kreider comes up with the board. The Bulldogs might want to think of calling a timeout, especially if this one goes in. It does not. Big rebound by Steve Schaefer. Here comes Schwab. Bulldogs up 3. Can they make it 5? Nice kick to Anderson, who puts it in.
Boy, nice move again by Brandon Schwab. Aurora Christian expecting him to take the 3. No, instead he passes it inside, and the Bulldogs get the point.
And on the other end, Jed Kreider with a walk, trying to make something happen. Looks like the Bulldogs did not have to call a timeout. The momentum has suddenly gone Batavia's way. First of all, the steal, and then the nice pass from Schwab to Anderson. Anderson with 8.6 coming in this third quarter of play. We're under a minute left in the third. And then all of a sudden a traveling violation. The Bulldogs are up 5, looking for 7 or possibly 8 with a long one to close out this third quarter of play. That would certainly be, well, it'd start to be a dagger in Aurora Christian's back. You don't want to start in the fourth quarter down by that many points. There's a steal by Jabari Harrell. He's going to take it all the way. Pressure by Schwab. Schwab will lay off. Harrell's second bucket of the game. It's 41-38. Mark Anderson bringing it up court. Half a minute left to play. Steve Schaefer will not go in. Nice tip by Marsh. It goes in after 3 bounces. It's 6 points for Marsh. Bulldogs regain a 5-point advantage. 15 seconds left. Aurora Christian looking to make this the last shot of the third quarter. They're down 43-38. Jabari Harrell has it off a set pick. Tries to kick it out. Brandon Schwab has it. 3 seconds left. He's going to have to put up a prayer. Will it count? It does not go in. He lost it, got it back, had to put up a 30-foot shot, and it went off the front rim. Does not go in. Brandon Schwab finishes with 12 points. Steve Schaefer with 11, as the Bulldogs have a 43-38 advantage in the third quarter of play. Mark Allen making it happen for Aurora Christian. He has 14 points, and Julian Harold pretty quiet with 8 points, even though he's been able to do it on the inside. He just seems to not be able to hit the shots, gets his offensive rebound, but still can't hit those shots.
Yeah, Harold doesn't seem to be hitting his shots, and Brandon Schwab has been on and off the whole night, but the thing that I've liked to hear about the Bulldogs in the second half is that they definitely stepped up to the challenge. Not only are they pushing the ball down the floor, but they are pressuring Julian Harrell. They are pressuring him big time to make the passes outside, and the Christian Eagles have not been able to make that many threes from outside the paint. So the Bulldogs doing what they had to do. They had to play this kind of an intensity ball game, and right now they're leading, Dave, by a score of 43-38, and I'm expecting the same things here in the fourth quarter.
If I'm Aurora Christian Eagle coach Don Davidson, I'm worried for a couple of reasons. First of all, 8 of the 12 points my team scored in the third quarter belong to Mark Allen, who has 3 personal fouls. He picks up his 4th. He's in trouble. It's not a balanced scoring attack. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs have a balanced scoring attack. Anderson with 6, Schwab and Schaefer with 4, Marsh with 2, and Zagorski with a free throw. And also, Brandon Schwab has not been able to hit his 3-pointers. If he starts hitting those, the Bulldogs are really going to take over 43-38 as we start this fourth quarter of play. For Batavia's Public Access Channel with Kevin Allman, I'm Dave Stapleton. For the final game of the Ken Peddy Windmill City Classic, Steve Schaefer tries to put it up, gets the tip. Nice play by Schaefer. He has 13 points, and the Bulldogs go up by 7. It's a nice strip. The Bulldogs get it back. Seems like every quarter starts this way, where each team strips each other. Schwab with a 3 will not go in. But the Bulldogs get the rebound. Carlson gets it out from 12 feet, kicks it out to Anderson. Anderson taking his time.
Good control there by the Bulldogs, setting it up. Oh! And the basketball is stuck.
Yes.
And
the ever-popular Voigtlock delivered by Nick Marsh.
You don't see that much in basketball. I did see it one other night, though, Utah Jazz. But, you know, this isn't the NBA. This is IHSA.
However, these teams do have some spurts where they are playing like NBA caliber. Oh, Jabari Harrell. Pretty quiet so far this game. He only had 4 points up until that 3-point shot. And Bulldogs come right back on the other end.
Boy, a big 3 there by Harrell. But again, the Bulldogs, and a steal here.
Who hit that for Batavia?
A big 3 by Harrell, and then the Bulldogs come back with another 2, and then Aurora Christian. And we got something going on here away from the ball. Some words are exchanged. between the Aurora Christian Eagles and the Batavia Bulldogs. This is not a pleasant sight here, folks.
It's just getting a little tight on the floor there. There's a ball, first of all, hits Mark Anderson on the back of the head, and then the referee was kind of signaling to the Bulldog bench possibly to quiet down. I'm not sure. He's still talking to him. Doesn't like words said from the Bulldog bench. Seems to be jabbering with Bill Kettering and P.J. White on the bench, along with Ed Cange and Dennis France, who constitute the bench. Jim Roberts standing up, watching his Bulldogs, who have a 6-point lead with 6:47 left in the ball game. Good pressure by Nick Marsh, who scored that last basket for the Bulldogs to give him a 6-point edge. Here's Matt Stott covered. Possibly a travel by Sovereign. They go inside to Mark Allen. There was a travel there, no call. But he misses the shot. Steve Schaefer pulls down the rebound. He's got quite a bit of rebounds tonight. Schaefer having a big game. Brandon Schwab got it, covered by Jabari Harrell. Trying to kick it inside, lost. DeBrooker does get it back, can't put it in, but he draws the foul. He will go to the line. That's Mark Allen's 4th personal foul. That's something that Don Davidson, the Aurora Christian coach, did not want to see. The only player in his team who's really scoring has just picked up his 4th foul. He's 1 away from being out of this game. Dan DeBrooker at the line. This is a shooting foul, and the first one rimming in and out. But he will get another chance. The Bulldogs up 47-41, 6:17 left in the ball game. DeBrooker has 4 points. He's trying to make it 5 to give the Bulldogs a 7-point advantage, and he does. Took a little while there. Hits the back end of a 2-shot free throw situation. Aurora Christian bringing it up hard off Stott's leg, but he recomposes himself. Almost threw it away. Jabari Harrell's got it. Kicks out the 3. It will not go. Batavia gets the rebound. Strong hustle by DeBrooker.
Well, you can see the strength right here on the Bulldogs and their rebounding. Didn't see a lot of that last year, but it's definitely making a difference in this ballgame. The Bulldogs basically out-rebounding Aurora Christian almost, 7 to 1. So a lot of rebounding here by the Bulldogs.
Don't quote us on those stats. We're just guessing. That's the way it feels. Totally different turnaround from the first half, where it seemed to be Aurora Christian was really getting the glass work. Brandon Schwab was fouled by Jabari Harrell, comes back in to nail the shot. He has 14 to give the Bulldogs a 9-point lead. It's 50-41.
I'm sorry, Dave, that stat was wrong on the rebounds. I misread the numbers.
That's no problem. Hey, the Bulldogs get it back. The Batavia fans go wild. That's about as loud as they've been getting this game. 9 points, trying to make that lead in the double digits. And when you have only 5 minutes left to play, you're in trouble if you're down by 10 or more. Batavia looking to beat Aurora Christian for the first time in gosh knows when. I don't know if they've ever beaten them. It seems like Aurora Christian always wins the Windmill City Classic. Batavia makes it to the finals but just can't do it. Nick Marsh, long shot, won't go in. Nice play by Anderson to get it, and he draws the foul. Anderson to go to the line.
Well, the Aurora Christian Eagles are just throwing their arms, they're throwing their bodies, they're slapping heads, they're trying to do whatever they can to get Batavia out of sync. And Batavia's been just, leisurely calm, going down the court, but they're playing with intensity. And this is something that we didn't see in the beginning of the season last year, but we're definitely seeing here tonight.
Mark Anderson making a awkward head fake that drew no less than 3 Aurora Christians out of their shorts and up in the air. Matt Stott picks up the foul. That's his first. However, Mark Anderson is not able to connect on the first end of this 2-shot situation. It'll be a lead of 10 if he does. He cannot do it. Mark Allen with the rebound. Allen has been a rebounding force for the Eagles, probably the only one who's been able to consistently rebound for Aurora Christian, looking to go 3-0, and so are the Bulldogs. Nice inside move by Stott. He's blocked, gets his own rebound, can't put it in. There's an out kick, and Mark Anderson grabs it, kicks it back out to DeBrooker. Dan will bring it up. 50-41, under 5 minutes to play. This is the finals of the Windmill City Classic. Honor to Ken Peddy, the scorekeeper for 40-some years. And Brandon Schwab looks like he drew the foul. Even though he might not be hitting the threes, he is drawing the fouls. The foul is on Mark Allen. I thought that was his 5th personal. I guess that is his 4th. I guess Don Davidson wasn't as worried as I wanted him to be. Brandon Schwab misses the first shot. Schwab was 4 for 4 from the free throw line in this game coming into that. He will try to make it 5 for 6. Bulldogs still holding on to the 9-point lead. Schwab makes it 10. It's 51-41 with 4:51 left in the ball game. Aurora Christian's going to have to make some things happen. Either go inside to Julian Harold, try to pick up some fouls and some twos, or maybe hit the threes. Julian going inside. Nice move. Schaefer can't draw the foul, but he can't put it in. DeBrooker with the rebound, being pressured by Stott on the defensive end. Out to Anderson. Decides to take his time. Pressured by Jabari. Nice weaving over a 17-foot shot by Schwab. Can't hit it. And it's Nick Marsh can't hit it. Still up for grabs. Nick Marsh gets a second rebound. Kicked away, though. That's C.C. Foster taking it all the way. Nice move. C.C. Foster, 3 points so far. Hadn't scored since the second. And it looks like the Bulldogs lose the ball again.
Boy, a bad mistake there by the Bulldogs, and Roberts wants to call a timeout. He was starting to see some things that he didn't want to see. Long passes down the court. You don't want to do that. You don't want to bring Aurora Christian back into this ball game because they can come back, and they can come back in a big way. Right now, the Bulldogs lead 51-43. But Dave, I mean, the Bulldogs just got to stick to their game plan. They cannot let the crowd get into this ball game. They just got to play what they know, what they can do.
Well, they certainly can't let one end of the crowd get in this ball game, but there is quite a lot of Batavia fans here, and they're chanting with the cheerleading squad. Well, actually, Aurora Christian's trying to drown them out. That's a pretty good road team. As I do not see the new Batavia Bulldog mascot Bubba on the stage, I believe they must be working at it at the store. Jim Roberts trying to settle his troops. He saw a tidal wave about to happen, and he's trying to catch it, trying to nip it in the bud before it becomes anything bigger. The Bulldogs, however, are holding an 8-point lead. It's 51-43. Only 4:07 left in the ball game. You know, you'd like to call it a safe lead, but gosh, you know, with that 3-point line, a couple of baskets, and Aurora Christian is definitely right back in it. And certainly Aurora Christian has all the experience in the world. Certainly the comeback against Rockford Lutheran last year, and they went 32-2 last year, as you mentioned, Kevin. Went to the Class A finals. Bulldogs 17-10. And they're looking to go 3-0. Bulldogs do have the upper hand right now as Aurora Christian's taking its time to get it up the court. Ooh, almost an over and back call. Brandon Schwab with the steal. He will put it in. Nice play by Brandon. Make that 17 points for Brandon Schwab on the night. Suddenly, he is the leading scorer of this ball club. Nice double team pressure. No foul call, but Aurora Christian holds on. There's a 3-point attempt by Stott. It's in. Matt Stott with that 3. It's his second 3 of the night. He has 10. It's a 7-point lead for Batavia. Schwab bringing it up, covered by Stott. He decides to take his time out by the Bulldog mascot in the middle of the field. Marsh inside to Anderson, who brings it back out over to DeBrooker. There's DeBrooker knifing his way inside, puts up a high arcing shot. Steve Schaefer gets it, and he's going to draw the foul. Is it on Allen? No, it's on Julian Harrell, but that is Harrell's fourth. Both Harrell and Mark Allen each have 4 fouls. Only Dan Carlson has 4 for the Bulldogs, and he is sitting it out. So Coach Dan Carlson, Coach Don Davidson for Aurora Christian has got to be biting his nails. This is white knuckle time as his 2 top players are playing with 2 fouls now with 3:16 left. Steve Schaefer with that free throw makes it an 8-point game. The Bulldogs up 54-46. 14 points for Steve Schaefer, trying to match his output from last night's game on Friday night. He had 15 points against Glenbard East, and he matches it. Bulldogs up by 9, almost turned over by the Eagles. Jabari's going to take it himself. Nice kiss off the glass. Jabari has 9 points, 5 of those coming in the 4th quarter. Bulldogs up by 7 with just under 3 minutes left in the ball game. Schwab has taken his time, being pressured by 2 players. Anderson back out to Schwab. He's in no hurry. And back out to Anderson, inside to Schaefer. Schaefer likes to shoot. He's going strong. Can't get it. Allen with a nice wide body. That's something Aurora Christian gives that the Bulldogs can't. They have size inside. Oh, they got to walk. Jabari maybe wasn't sure if he was going to shoot the 3 or go inside for the 2, and he decided too late. Traveling violation. The Bulldogs up by 7, 2:34 left.
Again, Aurora Christian just making the bad mistakes. A traveling call here, another traveling call here. Just making those little mistakes that are keeping the Bulldogs ahead in this ball game, 55-48.
DeBrooker passes it over to Mark Anderson, then a high pass to Schwab. They're playing keep away. When he gives it to Schaefer, he likes to shoot, and he hits it. Steve Schaefer with 17 points in the ball game to match Brandon Schwab's total. Both those guys have been matching each other the last couple days. The Bulldogs up 9 with 2 minutes left. They're going to have to go for 3s. Aurora Christian's going to have to. Allison doesn't want to shoot it. There's the 3-point attempt by Stott. It's long. Make that short off the front rim to the iron. Bulldogs have it, 1:50 left. 57-48, and they're going to try to salt this one away. A very impressive effort by Batavia taking on the Aurora Christian Eagles. Weren't expected to win this game, but it looks like they're going to, as Aaron Sovereign has to foul the Bulldogs, setting them to the line. That'll be Dan DeBrooker going to the line to shoot a pair. DeBrooker has 5 points. He will try to make it 7 on these 2 free throws.
And you can see that DeBrooker is bringing, not DeBrooker, but Davidson's bringing in his subs. Well, we keep on getting DeBrooker and Davidson mixed up, Dave. I don't know, 3 Daves, Dave, DeBrooker, and Davidson. I tell you, that's a real tongue twister.
I got Dan Carlson mixed up with Don Davidson. I was really bad about that. This is a 1-on-1 situation. He nails the first, DeBrooker does. DeBrooker has 6 points. I remember in Major League Baseball a couple of years ago, there was an Andy Allenson and an Alan Anderson, both in the American League. Very difficult to get those 2 guys straight. Can DeBrooker make it 7 points? He can. Biggest lead of the ball game, 11 points for the Bulldogs. Only 1:40 left in the game. Aurora Christian desperate for points. They're probably going to put up a 3. Decide to go inside. Jabari Harrell can't put it in, but he makes his own gravy. Kicks it out. There's a 3 attempt by Matt Stott. It's going to go in. Jed Cryer was hitting the 3s for this ball club. He has hit none. Matt Stott has been the man to kick it up for the Eagles. He has 3. 13 points for Stott as Bulldogs take it downfield, almost lose it. And we do have a foul. The foul is on Matt Stott, his second of the ball game. A 1-on-1 situation, or maybe super bonus, I'm not sure. Looks like a 1-on-1. And DeBrooker goes once again to the line. He shot 4 free throws in this fourth quarter of play, made 3, and here he's got a chance for 2 more. 1:12 left in the ball game. Bulldogs lead is 8, 59-51. 1-on-1 situation, it goes in. Make that 8 points for Dan DeBrooker on the evening, trying to make it 9. This on a Saturday night. The Bulldogs looks like if they hold on, they're going to win the Ken Peddy Windmill City Classic Trophy, which is something they have not won for a while. Dan DeBrooker doing his best, hitting both ends of a 1-on-1. A 10-point lead with 1:10 remaining. It's 61-51. Bulldogs look to have this game in hand as long as they don't give up the long 3s. Not able to hit it. The Bulldogs with the rebound, and they're going to salt this game away. Bulldog fans starting to sense it. Schwab, is he going to hit that 3? No, he's going to do the smart thing and hold on to it. Inside play, there's Zagorski who hits it.
And that is icing on the cake for the Bulldogs. I tell you, a really impressive showing here by Batavia. And the fans obviously disgruntled with the way that Aurora Christian played.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're really ticky-tacking on certain fouls. However, Julian Harrell does hit the 3. They have a little bit of life. It's a 9-point game. But with only 23.7 seconds left, they're going to have to hope for a miracle. And the foul.
Well, I don't know, Dave, if you saw the same thing that I did. I think I saw a shot in the ribs there to DeBrooker. I don't know if I was just saying things, but it looked to me like DeBrooker got a shot right in the stomach, and that's why he fell down. You don't want to see that kind of play. I mean, obviously Aurora Christian is upset, but it's been a really impressive ball game for both teams, and here comes Julian Harrell out. He played a pretty good ball game tonight.
Harrell picks up his 5th personal foul. He has to sit on the bench. Jed Kreider, the up until tonight 3-point specialist, comes in, hoping that, well, if DeBrooker misses these free throws, and mind you, he's 5 or 6 in the fourth quarter, if he misses both of them, 3 scores and I'll put him into it. But now, with 23.7 seconds left, the Eagles are going to have to score 4 times, and that's not going to happen with 24 seconds left in this ball game. The Bulldogs are going to win the Ken Peddy Windmill City Classic Trophy here at Bulldog, home of the Battling Bulldogs, the Doghouse, on a Saturday night right after Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving tourney to open up the season. The Bulldogs look good. Give up a little bit on the defensive end there, C.C. Foster, but that really won't matter. However, Don Davidson's going to call a timeout. Foster hits his 5th point of the ball game. Aurora Christian down by 9 with 15 seconds left. But Don Davidson wants to take a timeout. He's hoping that they could possibly pull this out, but I just don't see physically how they could do it.
You know, I can't see how they can do it either, but I mean, they've got the strength to do it, and they've got the speed to do it. But all the Bulldogs need to do is just control the ball, waste time off the clock, and, you know, a lot of coaches do this. I mean, they call timeout with 6 seconds left in the ball game, and they're behind by 9 points. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But obviously, it's just a way to try a defensive play or see if something works for them. But we see some of the fans leaving now as the Bulldogs look, indeed, Dave, that they are going to lock this game up. And, you know, I'd like to take this time and thank all the people that were involved in this classic. All the people on the camera, from Greg Lupica to Rich Andreski. And Dave, this certainly has been an enjoyable night as the Bulldogs look like they're going to beat Aurora Christian for the first time in 3 years.
Both Greg and TJ Lupica's son helping us out on the cameras. We certainly appreciate it. As a quick foul call, the Eagles not wasting any time to pick up the foul, and with this bonus situation, well, it's a good thing it's changed from a 1-and-1 to a 2-shot. That way we don't have to worry about so much about making the first free throw, because we will get a chance to go to shoot 2. Brandon Schwab has 17 points. He's going to get a chance to add 2 more to his total.
You know, when you pass the ball in bounds, I mean, there should be some time taken off the clock. I saw 15 seconds when the timeout was made. 15 seconds still. I don't know. Brandon Schwab looking here to make a free throw, and something happened here. I don't know what happened. Maybe they weren't ready.
You don't know. The players aren't used to the super bonus situation. They were thinking it was a 1-on-1. That's why they crowded in. Even though it was a miss, Schwab will get a second attempt. He misses both of them. He's stuck on 17 as C.C. Foster committed the foul to send him there. Here's the other Harold. Nashon trying to put in a ball, but he's not able to do it. With 5.5 seconds left, we have a foul. Looks like against the Bulldogs. However, put this one in the bag. This game is over. The Bulldogs have won it as chance of na-na-na-na, hey, goodbye come from the Wild Bunch, the Batavia Bulldog fans. I'm sure in 5.5 seconds, they're really going to be up in arms loving this outcome. Schaefer picks up his 4th foul, as Harrell will go to the line to shoot 2. He has not scored yet in this ball game. In fact, he hasn't come in until in the last minute of the game.
Well, Dave, I think it's time for us to pick the Bulldog player of the game, and my vote is definitely for Steve Schaefer. What a night he had. Brandon Schwab on and off through most of the night, but Steve Schaefer stepping up, making those big shots when he needed to, making the free throws when he needed to. Schaefer is definitely my vote for player of the game.
Yeah, Brandon Schwab was slow in the first quarter. However, he did end up, at least so far, with 17 points. Not a bad total. Of course, Dan DeBrooker was able to hit all his free throws in the fourth quarter of play. He hit 7 of 8 in that crucial time to salt the game away. If it weren't for those free throws, this would be a much different situation. But I would also give if I had a vote, I would give it to Schaefer. He was able to play good against the inside play of Mark Allen. 17 points for Schwab and Schaefer. And the Bulldogs win this game 65-56. And the Windmill City Classic Trophy is theirs. Congratulations to Batavia. A wonderful game against Aurora Christian.
And that will do it. I mean, Batavia just played an outstanding ball game when it came down to it. They made the shots when they needed to. It looked to me like Aurora Christian was just out of sync think. I mean, they had some great inside shots, but they weren't making them. Julian Harrell definitely has to be disappointed at the way he played tonight, because he did not play a good ball game. I mean, he was on and off throughout the whole game. So was Brandon Schwab. But Steve Schaefer was the whole point in this game, and the bench of the Bulldogs. Again, I am really impressed with this guy, Nick Marsh, Dave. He is really making the point. He is really making a statement that he wants to be a starter on this team and not just someone sitting on the bench.
Well, it's going to be tough for him to do that with the likes of Steve Schaefer scoring 17 points down underneath the basket to lead the Bulldogs. Actually, he was tied with Brandon Schwab, 17 points, Dan DeBrooker with 11, Nick Marsh and Mark Anderson with 8, Ben Zagorski with 3, and Carlson with 1. And here's the trophy presentation, the plaque presentation. And we will also be announcing the all-tournament team.
By presenting them with these awards.
Should be.
Please come forward.
Very polite crowd here. Some of the Aurora Christian fans have gone, but most of Batavia is still in their seats to appreciate the fine basketball effort that we've had the last 3 of the last 4 days here for this 6-game tourney. It's wonderful the way that Batavia starts off their season with a Windmill City Classic, bringing in some strong competition. And finally, for the first time in a long time, Batavia ends up on top. Aurora Christian doesn't have it. They can't beat the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this has got to be a big confidence booster for the Bulldogs. I mean, they've got, they've shot down one enemy. Now they need to shoot down another one in the Wheaton-Warrenville South Tigers, who incidentally, Dave, won today the Class 6A football championship by a final score of 22-21. So congratulations to the Wheaton-Warrenville South Tigers on winning the championship. But you know, the Bulldogs, they beat Aurora Christian. Now they need to beat Wheaton-Warrenville South, and I think the next one for them would be Sycamore. And there's going to be a lot of other teams that are going to be gunning for the Bulldogs. I'd really like to see the Bulldogs play this kind of intense game against Chicago King and really take it to Chicago King and win the ball game.
As the announcer Rudy announced, that was Steve Schaefer making the all-tournament team along with Jed Kreider, who had a pretty quiet game for Aurora Central or Aurora Christian tonight. Wheaton St. Francis has 2 entries, both Prombos, Jim and Jack. They are both, boy, they're really getting a standing ovation. Jack Prombo is. I'm quite surprised by this. Steve Schaefer making it, and maybe we might see another Batavian. Take that back, Aaron Sovereign making the team.
You can see Sovereign is disappointed that Aurora Christian didn't win it. But, yeah, I mean, I looked at Aaron Sovereign throughout this whole game, and he was definitely in it for the Christian Eagles. He definitely deserves this.
Hey, Brandon Schwab with the most valuable player, and he's going to receive a plaque. Batavia's Brandon Schwab, MVP for the tourney.
Well, Brandon Schwab, the MVP, I mean, he made it work for him, and this is why the Bulldogs are the champions.
And in classic Aurora Christian tradition, point guard Jabari Harrell wins the Most Inspirational Player Award, and Mike Smith, the point guard last year, also won it. And here come Batavia Bulldogs to receive their award. This is a fine honor. Jim Roberts has to be pleased. Bulldogs go to a perfect 3-0 on the year. And here it is as it's presented. And as you note, Jake Kramer holding up the trophy along with some other players. We've forgotten to mention Jake Kramer. Not only did the Bulldogs look very fine tonight and the other nights, but they didn't have Jake Kramer's services. How are they going to look next game when Jake Kramer comes back with a plastic guard on his face?
Well, it's definitely going to be a different look for the Bulldogs. Jake Kramer not being in this ball game. Nick Marsh, though, definitely making his statement for the Bulldogs that he is a player to be reckoned with. I saw a lot of nice inside moves there by Nick Marsh. Again, when you look at the Bulldogs, Dave, all I see here is I see teamwork. I see a team that really wants to win, a team that goes out and plays hard, wants to win. They needed to win this game tonight to make a statement that you are not going to win on our home court. And Aurora Christian, of course, going 32-2 last year.
Final score.
The Bulldogs the Bulldogs making a statement. They won this ball game, and Dave, I tell you, Brandon Schwab deserved all the honors, but I think the Bulldogs really need to deserve the honors. And Coach Jim Roberts really going with a different battle plan than he did last year, going with the different defenses. I saw him go to his zone. I saw him go man-to-man. He was constantly switching back and forth and not showing Aurora Christian what he really wanted to do.
With the team strength that the Bulldogs have shown the last couple of nights, fans have to be excited about the upcoming season. They are undefeated at 3-0. And also, Jim Roberts is trying to make the fans excited with this schedule. Their non-conference schedule is a toughie. As you mentioned, Chicago King, always considered one of the top prep basketball teams in the nation, is going to be visiting early January. The next week, Bennett Academy will be here, and the team that the Bulldogs lost to in the playoffs last year, Wheaton-Warrenville South, will also be visiting. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Wheaton-Warrenville South coming here because, I mean, this is another thorn in the Bulldogs' side. I mean, the Bulldogs were doing really well in the playoffs last year, and all of a sudden they met a Tiger squad that just outran them and outscored them completely. And the Bulldogs have something to prove this year, that they are a force to be reckoned with. And beating Aurora Christian here in Batavia really made a big difference. It probably would have been a different story if they were playing at Aurora Christian. But, you know, my hat's off to the Eagles. They definitely played a game, and unfortunately, you know, the Bulldogs came up with the win.
65-56, Batavia with the win. We will be back in a moment. Batavia High School, I'm Dave Stapleton, along with Kevin Altman on color. And you just witnessed the Batavia Bulldogs with a 65-56 victory over to Aurora Catholic. A very impressive victory, and as you can see, the Bulldog house is starting to clear out. Fans are on the field, but they were really, well, instead of being on the field, they were in their seats watching every second of this ball game. Quite impressive performances, notably by Brandon Schwab, who came on, and Steve Schaefer.
Well, indeed, very impressive performances by Steve Schaefer and Brandon Schwab. I think a couple things, Dave, when it comes down to, you know, who wanted this game, the Bulldogs really wanted this game badly. They wanted something to prove, and they definitely did it on the court. I think it would have been a completely different ball game, though, if Aurora Christian's Julian Harrell, you know, was making more of his shots. He definitely had the open shots, but he just wasn't making them tonight, and that was the big difference in the ball game. Batavia capitalizing on those missed shots, making the points. They win the ball game.
Even though they weren't able to hit those shots early on, they were getting the offensive rebounds. The rebounding was clammed up by the Bulldogs in the second half of play. They weren't able to get anything then. Batavia did a good job on the rebounding end as well.
Yeah, doing a good job on the rebounding, doing a good job on the defense. A lot of pressure defense, a lot of fast movement on the court. I'm really impressed with this Bulldog team. They really came out here and they played the intensity that they needed to play. And this is a big confidence booster for Coach Roberts and the Bulldogs. I see this as going into next week. It's going to be a completely different situation when the Bulldogs, if they, you know, go on to play Wheaton-Warrenville South, you know, they're going to win against Wheaton-Warrenville South, of course, that have been really tough this year also. They're undefeated. But talking again now about the Bulldogs, looking at next week, they got to keep that same intensity and that same drive that they did in this ball game, because this is a big confidence booster for them.
Schwab and Schaefer each have 17 points. To Brooker with 11 points. The final score, Batavia wins it over Aurora Christian 65-56. Bulldogs to 3-0. Hope you watch next week. We're going to have we have a whole bunch of games slated on BCTV. We're hoping to bring you a different sporting event every week. A lot of boys basketball games, a couple girls basketball games, and hopefully maybe we'll stick in a gymnastics and a wrestling. For Kevin Altman, I'm Dave Stapleton. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.